Now, as you all know, With Love Meghan Season 2 is already considered a disaster of epic proportions based on everything that's been going on lately between Netflix CEO Greg Peters, the many executives over there, the board of directors, and how there's a lot of setbacks going on with Season 2, which in reality, I know I have to keep saying this, but it's not a Season 2, it's basically Season 1 Part 2, and basically Meghan Markle is only calling it Season 2 to make it as if her show was renewed and was that successful. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So given that they will be doing some extra shooting for June of this year to really elongate or to make each and every episode of the next season, quote unquote, longer per episode, one thing is for certain right now is that Meghan Markle is universally rejected when it comes down to the film industry, when it comes down to whatever it may be, you know, movies, television, radio, anything. Meghan Markle is getting outright rejected. However, her way of coping with that is beyond embarrassing, and it just goes to show you how phony and narcissistic she truly is after she was recently blacklisted by more studios within the industry, because let's face it, we know that the industry is now beginning to realize that embracing things like DEI, it's not good for your business model, it's not good for anybody, it's not good to make a profit, so to speak, and you're seeing this slow turn of the tide. It's going to take a very long time because, yes, you do have some resistance in the Hollywood bubble. Studios like, of course, Disney and HBO, for example, they're trying to latch on to DEI as long as they can. However, looking at Meghan Markle in isolation here, with the downfall of Meghan Markle still taking place as we speak, especially during her time working on With Love Meghan Season 2, one massive development going on now involves more to do with Meghan's recent comments yet again after she was blacklisted by more studios within the film industry. Now, Meghan recently delivered the following in a desperate move to convince the studios to change their mind. Meghan delivered the following: I'm deeply concerned. I am very concerned for what is up and coming and for what's actually in store for up and coming actresses and what they have to deal with in this industry, because it is an unfair business. And it was before, but now it's a biased business beyond what we have seen before decades ago, because there is an obvious agenda there, you know, against those that come from different backgrounds. And I have dealt with this firsthand, and I don't want to name names because I don't think the time is right, but believe me, there will be a time for that. But some of these studios just want to say anything, and they want to do anything to go against diversity anymore, of course, due to fear from the current administration abolishing DEI and calling for its removal. And it's sad and completely offensive, especially to me as a woman. I mean, this is why sometimes you have to take matters into your own hands and contribute to yourself, not to others. This business will betray you at the flip of a dime, just like that. And all I will say is this: the reasons for why I just can't obtain work with certain entities is that, well, they just don't like how outspoken I am as a woman, I feel. But I'm just glad that I do have something good going for myself for the summer. We are doing extra work for With Love Meghan Season 2 and a couple of other surprises for my brand as ever and my podcasts. But I do cast full blame on the loud, outspoken people on social media and even mainstream media for pointing the finger at me for no reason at all, as if I'm not a real person, as if my emotions are all calculated, and it's so far from the truth. Now guys, let me just say one thing about that. Meghan Markle, we know that she's lying again. We know that everything when it comes to Meghan Markle is all calculated. Everything is all phony with her. She does everything on a script, and we already know that she never comes across as authentic, even though she tries to debunk that as many times as possible. It just does not work. Nobody buys it because, look, people just see it right through her. All you have to do is take one glance at Meghan Markle and listen to a couple of sentences coming out of her mouth, and you just realize that, yeah, I mean, she really is that phony. That's why her series With Love Meghan tanked. That's why it really drove Netflix into pure panic mode. That's also why Netflix agreed with Meghan Markle to call Season 1 Part 2 Season 2 to make it as if her show was that successful and that it got renewed. In reality, it did not get renewed. It did not get a real Season 2. It is basically just all 16 episodes filmed at the same exact time, and they're releasing them in 2 parts. Let's be very real about this. However, alright, she goes down further. These studios, I think she says, need to wake up. It's 2025 now, and we should be celebrating the usage of DEI, not to be afraid of it because of politics or government. And that's the one issue I seriously have with this administration, is abolishing DEI. I think it's quite disgusting, honestly, because I'm all for LGBTQ, I'm all for trans rights and diversity for film, television, and just show business in general. Again, there she goes, really doubling down on her support for DEI. Let me just say one thing about diversity, equity, and inclusion. It is truly the virus within the Hollywood bubble, within the film industry. It really just never contributed to a very popular or successful business model for any of these studios. That's exactly why you had flop after flop at the box office for many years. That's why you had a lot of ratings disasters for many of these studios like Disney, HBO, Universal in the past, and among others. It was an ongoing thing from like 2015 in the baby steps, that they were taking toward DEI, and it really hit its peak, I would say, right around the tail end of 2024, right around when we had the new presidency come into play, and how basically, yes, they are abolishing DEI. They are calling for the removal of DEI, not just in Hollywood, but also in all organizations, companies, and there is going to be some resistance. I like to keep bringing this up because there is some obvious resistance out there. Amazon, HBO, other studios like Disney. Anyway, this is where it gets interesting, is that she goes on to conclude, the minute they realize that, they just want nothing to do with you, I can only hope that the American people and those around the globe really educate themselves on how important women are that come from a diverse background, and how they really are important, especially for show business, because this is not the treatment that we deserve, and it's most certainly not the treatment that I deserve. I deserve respect for all the things that I have done for people, and to entertain and to make people happy with the hobbies I displayed in With Love, Meghan. Again, very narcissistic attitude. She's acting like just that, a narcissist. And I wouldn't even say, I should really correct my words there. She's not acting like a narcissist, she is a narcissist. So, one thing about Meghan Markle at this point is that, yes, we know that she is really just getting very bitter after getting blacklisted by many of the studios out there. She was supposed to have a train of cameos, alright, in movies, television shows. All of them got abolished. All of them said, we don't want anything to do with Meghan Markle ever again. Or even studios that never worked with her or never had conversations with her in the past, even they are actually shutting her out prematurely and saying, don't even come to us, we don't even want to come to you, no negotiations are going to be on the table. So that's why she's actually saying it's best to take matters into your own hands. What she's alluding to there are the podcasts, the many podcasts that she's creating that's going to focus on different subjects, different categories. It's going to be a very bad image for Meghan Markle, not just this year, but also for 2026. Anyway, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about all this below in the comments, anything ranging from her blacklisting situation to her overall drama at Netflix. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.